Peace in, peeps! What big pile of shift are we going to dig into today? I'm Steph, and welcome to Steph's Shift Show, the place where headlines meet the heart, where heroes remind us what's possible. Here we uncover hidden biases, call out broken systems, and shine light on bold solutions. Because shifting the conversation is how we build better people, stronger communities, and lasting personal peace. Peace in, peeps. I'm Steph, and welcome to another episode of Steph's Shift Show. You'll notice today we are joined by a guest. This is my daughter, Stella. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well, today we're going to discuss our journey and our shift around one of the most commonly consumed substances, and that's sugar. So today we're going to discuss a sugar shift and what our journey was, kind of why we even went on this journey. And I'm super grateful to have Stella here because we can give two different perspectives of why we chose to do a sugar shift. One of the reasons that we chose to do that was just the statistics, right? I'll share with some of you guys, if you don't already know, sugar does affect our body in a lot of negative ways. So we hold on and retain a bunch of weight. 17% of the average American's daily calories are hidden sugars, like additional sugar, 17% of your overall calories. So I don't know if that holds true in your consumption. And, I think sometimes we don't even know. Reading labels takes efforts. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at things that we're putting on our food or in our food, or as we go about our daily living, we just haven't even maybe paused to realize and assess, like, I don't know how much sugar is in my gum, my ketchup, my whatever type of food that I'm putting into my body. What are the drinks that I'm consuming? All of that stuff. And obviously there's a ton of conversation about sugary drinks and carbonated beverages. But I know for me, it was important to take all of the learning that I had heard about sugar and some of those powerful statistics, understanding how it was affecting maybe my sleep patterns, obviously like additional weight or getting more fit and having your body function as healthy as possible. Mm-hmm. I think that for me really was, it created like a project for me. I wanted to take, we talked about the I know. And if you didn't catch that episode, grab my Steph's 4-letter words episodes. But knowing the statistics about sugar, knowing the negative impacts that it could be having on me, doesn't mean shit unless I'm going to take that knowledge and do something about it. And so, I'll kind of share with you what I decided to do with my knowledge and what my knowledge was. But how about you, Stella? Why did you decide to join me today to discuss the sugar shift?
Well, I decided to join you today because I think this is a great topic for people to start kind of getting informed about, start paying attention to labels, especially just thinking about how we felt kind of before and then after this whole experience. Checking what's in your food really wasn't that hard. Making healthy foods that still taste good really wasn't that hard. And so I think it's just great to let people know that prioritizing your health is important, and it doesn't have to be a difficult process to navigate.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Let's share a little bit about what the process was. I shared that my why was very much around taking the knowledge that I'd learned around sugar and then saying, great, I'm going to give it a try. So I'm a total YouTuber junkie because I feel like I can control a lot of the content that I put into my head and heart and soul. And across many, many months, I was learning through videos there. But then, of course, that algorithm is going to also prompt up advertisements. And so for several months, I saw advertisements from Dr. Living Good, total plug. Although if he'd love to sponsor my show someday, that'd be great. And we'll share the link in the notes to his information and his recommended strategies for your 21-day guide to experience real health, plus a workbook. And it's just called Living Good Daily. And it talks a lot about nutrition and how to implement like a true game plan. I loved it that it had menus in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It even discussed parts about like our posture and posture coming into play around digestion and things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it was a shift on sugar, but the process that we used and the research that and the game plan that we really worked was Dr. Living Good. So I took that book and said, okay, I'm going to start in like November was when I grabbed the book. And I thought, New Year's resolutions isn't really a thing for me. We know the statistics around those and how we start for maybe a couple days, couple weeks. But unless there's really a reason, it's just another day we choose it. Anyway, so in November, when I got the book, I started getting curious and getting into my pantry and getting into my refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
And the first step for me was just discovering where was the sugar already in my house.
Mm-hmm.
How was I already consuming it? So I feel like that's kind of when I remember you maybe coming into the kitchen, or I think it kind of started somewhere there with
Mm-hmm.
you joining me on this discovery or this journey.
Yeah. I think kind of watching you get intentional with it, and then it also being kind of fun, like, here's a little cheat code. And I remember there being pages in the book that shows you like, it breaks down the foods into good fruits, bad fruits, oils, all that type of thing. And I thought that was really interesting to look at. That had a lot of information that I just didn't know. And so then I think once you kind of know the information, once you learn that, then actually putting it to good use, and being intentional to do that kind of every day. And we made it fun. We really learned how to, make good stuff and read for labels, and, how to recognize all the things that we should have already maybe been intentional about in our days.
Yeah. Well, and again, for me, it was very much about being intentional. I really wanted to see what it was going to do to my body.
Mm-hmm.
Raynaud's. So I have a condition that honestly I wasn't just going to settle on. So for me, it was about my health benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I recognize maybe some genetic patterns that are within me, and I really want to be proactive at 50 to be working toward, it's certainly not perfect, but like, what am I putting in my body and how can I improve that? So for me, that was important. I wanted to see what it was going to do for that inflammatory and circulatory challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And then mental clarity. So focus, great sleep. How about for you? Like, what was the motivating factor to even agree to this?
Yeah.
Cutting sugar or this sugar shift for you?
Yeah. I think personally, I really just needed a reset. So I'm now a student at KU. I was first at the University of Arkansas. Really didn't love it there. Wasn't thriving. So then decided to come home, and I just was very unhealthy. I was unhealthy physically. I was unhealthy mentally. And so I think, taking up something like this really made me, I guess, then have to prioritize myself, which really feels good. You should be a high priority for yourself, especially with your, physical, mental health. And so I think this was just a fun way to really get into that. And, so I think a lot of it for me was, that mental clarity, but also just weight loss. Like coming back from college, that's really what I was focusing on, was just becoming more comfortable again in my own skin.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. And you said like you weren't in a healthy place.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, okay. However, for your mind to go, I'm going to do this sugar shift. I do want to lose some weight.
Mm-hmm.
I think that to credit you, you were in a healthy enough place to say,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a shift in my life.
Yeah.
I definitely have challenged myself to be a parent where things are caught, not taught. I try
Mm-hmm.
and live an example for anyone. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't. But for the sugar shift for me, I'm proud of you for saying, hey, here is something mom's doing. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
join her for my own reasons.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fun. Okay, so what we did, I already shared about like one of our resources. And in here, it gave us a 21-day
Mm-hmm.
start. So instead of doing a New Year's resolution, we just started in November to go through our pantry, go through our refrigerator. I didn't want to just a hard shift. So we just started to realize, oh, this is going to have to be in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
So we went through that pantry together and
Mm-hmm.
trashed and read. And just that exercise for me
Mm-hmm.
was fun because I stayed in that curious mindset of like, wow, what all really is in here, and what do we need to get rid of? So I think we started that in like November, and then our goal was, we knew that November, December, holidays, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to maybe have less traditional eating patterns
Mm-hmm.
or consumption, but by January,
Mm-hmm.
our goal was, okay, by January, let's just pick a day, and that's when we'll start this 21-day zero sugar
Mm-hmm.
journey. So I think it was first about kind of cleaning up and out, getting curious, understanding what we are consuming already,
Mm-hmm.
and then making a decision of like, okay, we know that the first step in this book is to do a 21-day zero sugar.
Mm-hmm.
21 days. 21 days. How fast did 21 days go for you? And then share with me kind of, again, what was it like for you to learn about all that shit we were throwing out?
Yeah. I mean, the 21 days goes by so fast. It really does. And especially when you make it fun and kind of turn it into a habit. And yeah, learning about all the different stuff that we needed to get rid of, and reading on our ketchup and finding out that a lot of it is sugar, and a bunch of stuff like that we had been consuming that we just didn't know. We didn't know. And so then also kind of, going to the grocery store and then reading those labels and picking out things that, did actually give our body nutrients. And, finding fun recipes to make with the new ingredients that we now can use.
I would say that was part of our grocery store outings.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember us getting into the book. So in the back, there's recipes. And of course, we were going to go through and pick out, okay, what sounded good, right? Mm-hmm. What do I like to eat, or what had yummy ingredients? And then honestly, for me, I wanted to find ingredients that were simple and that I understood what they were. I don't know about, you, but I've seen recipes where I'm like, I have no idea what that even is. Mm-hmm. But on this journey, there were some ingredients for some of the recipes that we wanted to make that I had never heard of. And yet I was like, okay, the old stuff would have been like, I want to know where to find that in the store. I don't know what that is, whatever. The stuff that has shifted and that was committed to this sugar shift, I looked up what those ingredients. I asked around at the store where I could find them. So I know that sounds goofy. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I mean, I tend to be a cook that just likes to take all the stuff I already know, goes together, throw it together, and that's what I eat. Instead of really being intentional. So then we would get these recipes that we would want to make. Mm-hmm. We would write down what we needed to find, all organic, all, beef that was appropriate. Like, there's a lot of guidelines in here. I'm not going to give all those specifics, but we took those recipes, and then we also didn't give ourselves really a time limit to going to the store. Mm-hmm. So I think the first time we went to maybe 3 different grocery stores, kind of wanted to figure out who had a bunch of organic stuff, who had the healthy protein products that we were going to look for. what were the price of all these? I think we just made it almost like a field trip the first time out. So, I would recommend anyone that might join us and try a sugar shift in their own life, like creating it, days with more yays and less yucks. Just making the journey to the grocery store, we created yay. Like we just made it fun. We didn't set a timeline. We went together as a peace pal, as a sugar pal, as a shift pal, and then had fun. Like you said, we read all kinds of labels. We learned all kinds of things. And then we knew we were going to come home and we had the recipes that we wanted to make. And that was a whole nother fun time in the kitchen. But how about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think, it definitely helped me with my cooking skills for sure. Just learning how to make a whole bunch of good stuff. And I mean, we meal prepped a little bit too. I remember the like stuffed peppers we had made were really good. Discovering those palm noodles as an alternative was great.
Those stuffed peppers are great too because they reheat. They're really filling.
Yeah. So we had fun and we made some good shit.
Yeah. The question I have for you is there's a favorite chicken and broccoli casserole in here, which if you would have told me chicken and broccoli, I would have been like, I hate broccoli. I hate everything about broccoli. I hate what broccoli does to my body, but I'm open-minded and I can give it a shift. So there's a chicken and broccoli casserole in here that is so simple because I think like the less ingredients, the less amount of time, yay for me. But you make it better than me every freaking time, which is so frustrating. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you can make it right? And every time I make it, either the chicken is a little chewy or it's...
I don't know.
Is it because you follow the actual recipe?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe I'll shift my cooking to, instead of doing the throwing in, like, that's about how much.
Yeah, actually reading the recipe.
Okay. I'll give that a try. Yeah. So what'd you do? Like 21 days, no sugar. You described it as not being that hard. Maybe describe for our audience, what did no sugar look like for 21 days?
Yeah. I mean, before the process, I don't know that I was someone who was really drawn towards like sweets, if that makes sense. So I wasn't consuming sugar in a way of like, okay, I'm drinking a soda all the time or I'm eating all this candy or whatever. I think for me, more of the sugar was in stuff that maybe I wasn't paying as much attention to. And so I think, just becoming aware of that.
So in 21 days, the goal of the reset of our bodies was 0 sugar. So, I mean, fruit, right? Like fruit's not bad. And there's a bunch of stuff in here. It's not that it's bad. It's just, we were going to go all in. And the all in was the 21 days, nothing. Because we wanted to see, okay, what does 21 days of starving our body with any sugar, what's it going to do? So was there something that was hard for you? I mean, you said you're not a person that regularly consumed sugary drinks or even craved candy, but what was so different?
Probably eating out for me was hard. We all know fast food's not healthy. By any means. And so I think that was one for me that was definitely a change because all of those foods would have sugar in it. All the, Chick-fil-A sauce, all that type of stuff is all sugar.
What would you eat during those 21 days? Do you remember
a lot of chicken. I made a lot of like chicken, ground beef stuff. Those palm noodles to make like pasta without pasta noodles, I remember.
What's the vegetable that the palm noodles are?
Heart of palm.
Heart of palm. Yeah, and you can just buy them in a packet, and they're a little more crunchy than a noodle, but maybe y'all have heard of those. We hadn't. Not expensive, and a great way if you still want kind of like a pasta dish. Okay.
Yeah. I remember the Bragg's sauce that I love this sauce. We found it at Sprouts, and it's Bragg's coconut Aminos something. Couldn't even really tell you what that means, but it's so good. And I put it on like rice. I put it in chicken. I'll like
Right.
use that as the seasoning for
You did go crazy with the Bragg
anything.
sauce.
Yeah. And
You
I'm
recommend
literally
it?
buying my friend one of them because I was
Okay.
like, you need this to cook your food.
Okay.
It's so good. So I made that with like sliced bell pepper and like chicken a couple times, and it was so good.
Yeah.
That was a really easy one to just kind of have meal prepped, and then you could even put it on the palm noodles too, and I would just use more of the
Were you
Bragg
craving
sauce.
sugar? Like, would you find yourself like wanting sugar? Was there an awareness where you were like starting to go, okay, this is getting a little tricky to eat zero sugar for 21 days? I know for me, like cashews, I was going through like nuts like crazy. Whatever type of jerky, again, like whatever it was, I'd have to have gone back and read specific labels. I know there's some vegetables you can have. I think we were really, really heavy on protein, but
Yeah.
It gets tricky, but you just have to get creative because to get through the 21 days, like why start if you're not going to stop? And I mean, 21 days,
Right.
that's less than a month. I don't know about any of you, but man, a month can fly by and I'll be like, where'd September go? Well,
Right.
September went to my sugar shift. So I
Yeah.
survived. Yay, whatever. Okay, so we survived the 21 days of zero sugar. And then as you start to kind of put back in little bits here and there, and I think that part for us, once we'd already had zero sugar, then it was really fun.
Yeah.
Because then we could start adding in some fruits, right? And there were some berries and different things that we added in. For me, the 21 days really did set a solid foundation for getting rid of the stuff that had sugar in it, replacing it with things that I liked that didn't have sugar, so that when the 21 days was over and I wanted to add back in like fruits or vegetables or different things,
right.
I already in those 21 days also found other things that I loved or ways that I could, add like monk fruit sweetener or organic stevia, things like that were not sugar, that were healthy substitutes that weren't going to shift my body into, holding on to weight, sleeping like shit, all of that stuff. It was going to keep that shift for me. So after the 21 day, what did you notice? And then, maybe go on into discuss how many months into living this new lifestyle with sugar shift, sugar awareness, I would say, what did that look like for you?
Well, so following the 21 days, I had lost about 30, 40 pounds.
In the 21 days.
So that was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quick.
How did you realize that?
Well,
like, were you noticing it little by little, or did you just? That's really fast.
Yeah, I think I didn't really look or like at the scale, I didn't ever do that at first, other than I knew what I had come home as, from college.
Okay.
But then yeah, kind of throughout that process, and then watching it, even by the week, like drop by more was really cool. And yeah, I think just cutting out some of those like really just toxic for your body ingredients. And then I think meal prepping for me too, because the convenience of fast food, I think, was how I had gotten kind of trapped into that. So if I meal prep things at home, then I still have that convenience of it's already made. It's already here. I can just go, grab it, reheat it, and it's ready.
That was a big thing for you, having it ready. Because when I'm hungry, I just want to have it and have it ready.
Yes. And if I'm hungry and I have to take 30 minutes to then make something, that's probably when I'm going to grab,
Yeah.
something that I probably shouldn't have grabbed because I
Yes.
just don't want to take the time to
Yeah.
go and like
And Stella, I think you're
really
spot
make
on. I think
something.
most of us are like that, especially if we wait to the point where we're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we don't have the 30 minutes to make something, or God forbid, in my case, like even to start thawing the meat out.
Right.
So, yeah, I think for me too, it was helpful to have stuff made.
Yeah.
However, if I would plan ahead to where I was going to take a lunch break or
Mm-hmm.
have a certain maybe YouTube podcast on or something, I would turn that on, and then that would be kind of my cooking time. Like
Yeah.
I would say, okay, today over lunch, I'm going to take a full like hour and, grate some cheese and
Mm-hmm.
cook some chicken or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think it depended, but definitely having stuff quick and ready.
Yeah.
What about stocking your car? What about when you were on the go? Did you do anything that was different?
I started drinking a lot of water. So I've always been pretty good about water, but I think I think starting then and then ever kind of since, like I drink a lot of water. I
Okay.
carry a giant like Stanley and I'll go through like 3, 4 of those in a day,
Okay.
which seems like a lot of water. Um,
I mean, they do say when you're thirsty, drink water, right?
yeah.
The right amount for you may not be the right amount for everyone else. When you're thirsty, drink water.
Mm-hmm.
Did you replace like any other liquid or whatever? Did you have any favorite zero sugar or anything?
Um, for me, the drinks weren't as hard. We did end up finding those poppy sodas that were great.
Mm-hmm. Those are pretty trendy,
But
popular.
yeah, usually when I am thirsty, I do kind of reach for water.
What about food though?
So
In the car, when we think
mm-hmm.
fast food, we think like you're driving through somewhere because you're hungry. So if you're in the car, you're not going to eat water. What are you going to eat? Did you do anything or carry anything with you?
Mm-mm.
So you just were intentional to make sure you had eaten?
Yeah.
Did you drive through a drive-through in those 21 days?
No.
Have you driven through drive-throughs?
Since, yes, but it's not the same. I cannot eat meat from fast food places now. Like I went to McDonald's. I've tried since then a McDonald's burger, couldn't eat it. Just the consistency of the meat, the taste of it. Like I can't eat it now.
Taste.
And it tastes so fake now, I think.
Yep.
That I mean, I haven't been through McDonald's in forever.
Yeah.
Now, it's just
the taste. I think that was one of the
gross.
big benefits that you and I both noticed because of the quality of just product that we were buying, because
Right.
the product quality was great, the flavor was great,
Right.
and we noticed a difference. So more rewarding, more fulfilling for consuming. What was your result then over time? Like, how did it change your lifestyle? How did it change the way you felt or looked or showed up for life? You're a peace and poisons out participant. It's
Yeah.
been part of your daily living. We talk about where do we spend our resources, our time, money, energy, and effort to landscape our life. And one of the most common poisons in people's lives lots of times is substances.
Yeah.
In this example, we're sharing how sugar might have been a poison in our life.
Yeah.
And so we got intentional. We did some things with that. How did that benefit like your armor of protection, like how you show up every day? How did that full circle work effectively in your life?
Yeah, I think a lot of it for me was like how I looked and then how I felt about myself. And so like going and having to buy all new clothes because none of my pants fit anymore. And and so I think stuff like that was kind of fun. And then in the process was also kind of annoying because all the clothes that I did like, now are falling off or whatever. And so then I had to go shop and find more. But once you do and you like the way that you look and whatever, then the process becomes a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And I had like an old pair of shorts that I really liked that I didn't even bring to college because I knew my big ass could not fit in those. But then, now I wear them again like I never stopped wearing them. And so I think kind of that part was fun for me as someone whose weight has fluctuated
Okay.
all over the place throughout life. I think that part's always fun for me. I don't know.
The new clothes part?
Yeah,
or the way you look part?
the clothes part, I think,
Yeah.
and how stuff fits. Like in middle school, I was big, and then in high school I was small, and then in college I was big, and now home from Arkansas, like I'm back at where I was. And so it's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you notice anything about like your energy or your sleep or your focus? Obviously, again, we're at totally different stages in life and hormones and different things, but it sounds like you feel really good about the weight loss part, and that it gave you an opportunity to get some new clothes.
Yeah.
Anything else you notice about your feelings or your days? Is more yays and less yucks? Like, would you say that fits with how sugar has impacted your life, or how when you made that shift?
Yeah. I feel like making that shift also kind of gave me like a good sense of control over my life as well. And like the food prepping, I'm someone who kind of likes schedule, likes routine, and so I think just having everything kind of more planned out, because I was more intentional about it than I was before. Kind of did make my days easier, because it already kind of had that structure surround. I didn't have to worry about what I was going to make and whatever, because I already did.
Interesting.
Or I had thought ahead for that, or and so I think that kind of stuff also made it more fun, because I didn't have to add anything difficult to my life to see good results. I was able to adjust things to be more fun, and then in turn had good results.
Okay, that makes sense. And then when you have fun and you have good results, like, do you want to keep doing it, or do you want to stop doing it?
Yeah, keep going.
Right. And so the opportunity, again, this is the sugar shift, the opportunity with any of these shifts in our lives, the goal should be, in my opinion, the goal should be to create it with yays. Like, the goal of me removing sugar from my life isn't to make it, a grind and work and all that. Right. So, I think, again, having like literally someone's playbook that then I actually learn and know, but knowledge is nothing without action. So then putting it into step, getting to share this journey with you was great. For me, again, we started cleaning stuff out in November. December, we really kind of started with little sugar. And then I think some point in January, and it wasn't the first, because we had Leo's birthday, January 3rd. We've shared some cake. Maybe it was right after Leo's birthday, January 3rd, that we started like, okay, 0 sugar.
Yeah.
And very quickly, I remember coming home after having to go to the grocery store in January on a day that was like 5 degrees outside, like freezing cold. And when I would go to the grocery store, you guys, and I had that Raynaud's flare-ups, by the time I would walk around the grocery store, my kids know well, all of the ends and tips of all my fingers would be white to touch at the checkout, like they were totally numb. And I remember coming home from the store in January and going like, oh my God. And I didn't realize it till I got back to the house and told you and Leo, like, oh my gosh, if this response of my body has been so normal for years, that had happened. You guys knew I hated going to the grocery store because it's so cold anyway. And then you struggle with that condition. It was awful.
Yeah.
And I came home and I was like, oh my gosh, none of my fingers were white or numb. And for me, that locked it in. that locked it in that I had taken sugar out of my life. And by taking sugar out of my life, here was one of the health benefits
Right.
that I noticed, and it was blown away. So I stuck with it. For me, weight loss wasn't one of the goals, and I did need to make sure that I consumed enough calories, right?
Yeah.
I did lose about 10 pounds. That wasn't part of my goal or strategy, but it was a weight loss of, I think, the ability to create a more lean body mass for me.
Yeah.
I think like my arms and my stomach and my thighs. Um, I lost the I lost soft parts of me, and I started to reflect the firmer, more muscular toned parts of me.
Yeah.
And that was good. So I know I just eventually had to get really intentional to make sure I was eating a bunch of calories, putting a bunch of oils and sugars that are healthy for me onto and into my recipes, buying the protein that wasn't quite as lean and things. But it was all really a fun part of the journey. And the results, when you see, gosh, having to get, new wardrobe and the confidence that felt. And I love how you use the word control, how you felt more control. And when you used the word control, Stella, you were talking about you and your life. You weren't trying to control things outside of you, right? Because we know that that's obviously pointless.
Yeah.
But good for you that making that sugar shift gave you the opportunity to feel a little more in control in ways that you wanted in your own life. So I think that's awesome. Okay, so we just wanted to take this opportunity to see if our journey, the way we gamified this whole sugar shift, was going to be helpful for you. I think we should give them a challenge. You can maybe speak to any of the audience that is going to tune in and check you out on this episode. Like, what challenge would you give someone in the audience that maybe is in your stage of life around sugar shift?
I say where I would start would be reading the labels. And if you can't, and I feel like you always hear this, if you can't read the label, don't get it. But seriously, like we were buying things and I was almost shocked at how short the ingredients list was on some of these things. There may only be 3-4 ingredients and it's like wheat, water, whatever, super simple stuff. But then you flip over, even a box of crackers now, and, it's got hydromlephlazine and, just all this stuff you can't even read that you're like, why, if someone had a bottle of that laying out, would I drink that? No. So why am I eating it?
You're saying people your age, you feel like they would,
just pay attention like, to the labels and not even, like, oh, I love this and I can't read it, so I can't buy it. No, but just
start reading. Get
look
curious
at
about
what you have and what you are buying. And, can you read what's on the label of most of the stuff you're consuming?
That's easy to do.
Yeah.
Would there be anything you'd recommend that they'd add in or subtract out that worked effectively for you?
I think a really easy starting point is just drink water, just cutting out any liquid calories, sodas, lemonades, all that type of stuff. I think that's a really easy, those are all sugar. So even that, you're cutting out a decent amount of sugar if you're someone who drinks that type of thing a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So you would recommend anyone your age just start getting curious about what's on the labels. Like what is actually in there? What can you pronounce? So your tip is if you can't pronounce it, don't buy it.
I mean, ideally, but just become aware of what you are eating. Like, do you know what you're eating? Can you read what you're putting in your body? And if it's a chip and then the ingredients list is this long of a bunch of stuff that ends in, medical terminology, you probably shouldn't be eating it. And so I think that was really eye-opening for me, was like all the stuff that, oh, it's a Cheez-It, it's whatever, like this basic stuff. And then, oh, but it's really not. It's not even close.
I have a question. Why do you think most individuals around your age group would want to sugar shift?
I mean, I just think we're kind of at a pivotal age. And so I think if you can know, about this topic and start implementing it into your life now, then I think the rest of your life it would be easier to not overconsume on
Yeah.
sugar.
Okay, fair.
I think just building that habit, or at least being aware of the issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really where you start, and then you can build it or continue it
Yes.
from there.
Yeah. And I would give all of our listeners the challenge of like, I will give the link to the book, give it a look, and then ask yourself if you were going to shift your relationship with sugar. If we gave you any inspiration of, just results that we noticed. I'll say too, I shared about the Raynaud's and my circulatory and the numb fingers no longer, but like my sleep's great. My Aura ring will show you that. Every single day I can easily go walk 2 miles and just have the energy to do that. My focus has improved. The taste of my food has improved. Yeah. I'm a better freaking cook. Like, I'm a good cook now. I'm pretty proud of some of the stuff that I can whip up that's really tasty and really healthy. And that makes me feel good to be doing for myself. It makes me feel good as a parent to be putting better nutrition into your guys' bodies, or certainly Leo's when we can try. And yeah, I would just say, think about, would you want to start something like a sugar shift in your own life? It's October now. I don't know if you love Halloween candy, if you got a bunch of holiday parties and festivities going up, but if so, maybe you could do it similar to how Stella and I did it, where we got the material, we started to read, we looked at the recipes, didn't seem that hard. We found each other as kind of like our peace pal to go through this shift with, and then say, okay, yeah, maybe January-ish is a good time for me to go for that 21 days. So I would say, hey, I would love for anyone that is curious about doing a sugar shift in their own life and you have any questions of Stella or myself, send us a message, get in touch with us, ask us anything, and we'd be happy to answer. And then also, if you are going to commit to it, let us know how we could support you or, celebrate your yays and less yucks. That would be really fun because I'd love to hear, and Stella, I think, would love to hear too. How did it change your days? How did it give you opportunity to maybe be a better cook? How did it be an opportunity to be a better parent? Did sugar shifting change your weight? Did it change the leanness of your body? Did it change anything that it was a health challenge before? Did it improve your sleep? All the things that we know less or sugar can do, but just, sometimes it's the timing. Yeah. It's the timing. So I don't know what it might be for you on why you would do this sugar shift, but thank you so much for tuning into our sugar shift episode. Thank you so much, Stella, for sharing your experience and doing the journey with me. I think it's been really fun. And now our lives, we've added back in some like sugars here and there. We'll definitely take an Andes run sometimes. So we are not doing full sugar-free living, but man, it's very different. And if this can help support anyone else's sugar shift, we encourage you to give it a try. Get curious, get creative, and see how you can create days with more yays and less yucks with less sugar. So peace in, peeps. Thank you so much. Until our next episode, go create more yays and less yucks in your lives. Thanks for joining us today on Steph's Shift Show. If today's conversation sparked a thought, a laugh, or a shift in perspective, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your circle. Together, we can shift the story, build better people, and create more personal peace. Peace in, peeps. See you next time.